Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 13 of the Cosmere Reads. Woo!
Hey.
And there is much rejoicing. String Flame, you just drove 270 miles for a wedding. That's crazy. Crazy talk.
I like the dedication.
I do.
Do it for your people.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
The furthest I ever drove for a wedding, I drove from here to Alabama, which is well over 270 miles. I don't know how far it is.
We drove from here to Kansas City, Missouri
Ooh,
for a wedding.
yeah.
So that's our furthest.
It's not my longest drive. It's my longest drive for a wedding. My longest drive is probably from here to Miami.
Longest drive. See, Sugar Bowl, we drove from here to New Orleans.
Okay.
See,
at some point, I just fly.
I know I've done some other long trips, but I can't remember. It's some point in time, all the trips just kind of blend together. You just don't, just don't remember them like you used to,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. From Clear to Anchorage. Yeah, Alaska's big, dude. Like it takes a long time to get.
Oh, geez, Alaska. Every trip in Alaska is a long trip. Come on.
Yeah, String Flame lives in Alaska.
I mean, consider the fact you lay Alaska over the continental United States and you eat so much of it.
It's like the entire size.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole my beer situation.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Takes a long time, but yeah, sounds good. Well, before we get into it, for anybody that's joining the show, apologies for canceling. I am still in my house. If you watch the Will Reads, you know that. If you're watching us or listening to the Cosmic Reads, I am still in my house, and I've been kind of having to do last minute audibles and changes just because, yeah, when we have deadlines and things like that, it gets listed tomorrow. So we're kind of done until it sells now. We still have to keep it kind of neat and clean for showing, but no more like fixing up stuff. But there's a few more like small things, but like we're getting mulch done on Saturday. But like my landscaper's doing it just because we're going out of town next week. So yeah, he's doing that, and then today we went up and painted the soffit in the front of the house just because there were a few parts where the paint was peeling. Yeah, to put another coat on the front step, things like that. Just a little paint touch up here and there. But for the most part, we're done. So we should be more consistent, except for next week. I'm on vacation, so I'm not going to be recording next week because I have no idea the internet situation. And Londo, you're gone too. So
right. So next 2 weeks at least.
Next 2 weeks. Are you gone the week after too?
Yeah, I'm traveling the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Perfect. All right. So we'll be back on October 17th, I guess it is.
No,
24th.
Yeah,
24th.
Yep.
Okay, let me just make sure I get a note there, and then we will. Yeah. So, and then we'll back the 24th, and then probably not recording Halloween because, well.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before. I remember at some point in time you had considered not even doing the 24th and just going straight after Halloween. I know you would.
Yeah, we talked about, but the next one's just for doing a short story, so it's just a standalone.
Oh, if it's a short story, then it's just a one-off. Then sure, we just knock it out.
Yeah, let's knock that one off, and then we have another short story. But I was thinking about breaking that up into two, just because it would be longer than this one if we did it together. So I'm breaking it in half. Okay. So we'll do that every 2 weeks in November, and then right around Thanksgiving, not the 28th, so the week before Thanksgiving, we'll do, or maybe we'll just take a week off after that, and then take 2 weeks off because about Thanksgiving the week before. So then December we'll start the Wave Kings. I think that works.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So we'll start Storm Knight Archive. Well, Alondo will be ready for the grand opus.
We'll see.
Masterpiece that is Stormlight.
Okay.
Stormlight's fantastic. And if you say otherwise, then I'll just cancel the whole podcast and say we're done here.
Man.
I got nothing else to go on. If you say it's horrible, there's no sense of going on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Look, because that's the peak. So if it's not good, I've yet to meet someone that did not like Wave Kings. Now I'm sure there are people out there that exist. I haven't met them yet. I've met people.
There's a lot of people I saw out there that actually really like Elantris.
Yeah, Elantris has a little following.
It has some followers.
They do.
I mean, again, I'm not knocking it like wholehearted, like wholesale, like saying it's not good or anything. It's just, I just know, with us having done, series 1 of Mistborn,
yeah,
you compare it to Elantris, it's just like it's kind of a step back.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm like,
might like it just because it's Brandon's first work, and there's a lot of callbacks throughout the Cosmere to it. So we'll get there. We will get there. Okay. Without further ado, you want to get right into talking about the final part 3?
And again, I'm going to preface everything that happens in this episode with the fact that I read the first half of this 2 weeks ago, the second half of this 1 week ago. So I'm a little shady, and then my I read some stuff that Brandon himself wrote.
Okay.
Talking about like
notes and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of I just kind of wanted to hear his thoughts about like what his state of mind was when he wrote some of this stuff. That's what I read.
When you get into that stuff, it's fun.
Yeah. That was great. So I feel like I remember his notes right now better than I remember the actual story, but I'm sure it'll come back to me as we jump into it. So
yeah. Well, if you remember, we ended part 2 with Raython receives a report that Royal has been executed. It's just kind of the recap of what happened, that Royal got killed, and that Telleri got killed as well by Iodod, and all that fun stuff.
It was like a battle royale going on there for a second.
Exactly. There's so yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was adjusting my mic and kind of went in and out. Okay. So chapter 55, we start with Raiden. And he's at Keon's house, at Hunky K's. He's just out there watching the aftermath from everything going on. And Raiden, talks to Sereni, confides in Sereni that they're still alive, and happy about it. And confirms to Sereni that the contract of their marriage is void. I mean, his heart stopped beating according to the customs in this world. Once you become an Elantrian, or not necessarily Elantrian, but once you get the shade, you're dead. So, yeah,
right,
yeah. She just says you don't have to honor that, basically. Yeah, you don't have to honor that contract. And she's just like, why would I not honor it? You're awesome. He's like, yeah, but I'm a zombie and I'm not really alive. Like, you can go have a good life and have kids and all the other good stuff. And like, why are you gonna stay with me? Like, it's just kind of silly. And he kind of is taken back. He's like, I'm not trying to avoid the marriage. I'm not trying to back out of this. It's not what's happening. Hey. Just saying, I get it. If you don't want to be married to me, I'm kind of dead. So that's kind of weird.
Right.
So kind of an interesting take on things. Yeah, but then suggests they can make it formal once they kind of have a talk about it. He sends Galadin back to New Elantris to teach people about the Andor and start teaching more of the Elantrians about how to use it, things like that. Even though it's not working quite right, I guess at this point, yeah, it's working finally, but it's not working well yet.
But you have to like know how to adjust your Aeon so that way
you control the chasm.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then he draws Aeon to study to magnify scope to study the the palace grounds and stuff like that. He can like do things to make things a little magnified, I guess.
Okay. I don't remember that part.
Yeah, because he's horrified when he sees the corpse of Ian Dell lying next to Tillery.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So, because he zooms in or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, that's crazy."
Yeah, Ian Dell, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Good old dad.
Yeah, kind of. That was a heartbreaking part. That little mini battle that happened, and Ian Dell going down. That's rough.
Yeah.
But he was a champ going all the way out to the end, though.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. And that's not pretty much it for Chapter 55.
Okay.
Not much.
Yeah, I feel like these chapters kind of they're and it starts getting weird here.
It does.
Because the perspective changes inter chapter now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really odd for me listening to it in the audiobook, and all of a sudden you would hear this distinct change in the narrator's voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was kind of jarring. And I was like, oh, this is somebody else speaking now. So it kind of just,
it's like you get to the book, it's like, let me try something new.
Yeah, so it's like I kind of wish this is one of the rare moments where I wish I was reading the book, because in the book I'm sure it probably had like a gap or space or something, so you knew that there was like a change in voice. But when you're doing the audiobook, it's just like end of that chapter, and the next chapter is like, oh, he sounds like Sereni now, and I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of authors with their first book will try experimental stuff that they never try ever again, and that's even Robert Jordan with Wheel of Time. Like, you look at Eye of the World, like there's a set of chapters in the middle of the book. It's on the road to Camelin, and it's like Matt and Rand. They're on the way to Camelin. Sorry, spoilers for Eye of the World. So if you want to do earmuffs, you haven't read Wheel of Time, but like it does a flashback within a flashback within a flashback. And it gets really confusing. It's trying to use a literary device, but like there's this, and most readers are just really confused on what's going on because it doesn't.
It's been so long since I read it. I'm curious about where it was, and of course I did the audiobook thing. But the only time I really got confused in the Wheel of Time books, and of course spoilers here, but it was when they went for the ladies went for their trials.
Yeah.
That whole part, and it was like really odd. I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, oh, okay. They're actually seeing alternate versions, blah, 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 blah. That threw me off. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So chapter 56 starts with Serene's point of view. She's on the roof of Raiden, right where we left off. And Ash is there. Good old her Sion. And she's just explaining, that it was foolish for Ian Dell to charge, into the palace to avenge the death of Royale at the same time. Raiden is the first to call it foolish, but Serene agrees eventually. Like they're just talking about what happened. It's kind of recapping. Like, man, wish he didn't die. Like, it was kind of dumb.
Right. I mean, he had a better purpose elsewhere than doing that, going in and charging him blindly.
Right.
So that, I agree with that statement.
What's the quote that I saw? It was like a quote to someone, to his daughter. Hold on, I'm trying to remember what it was. But like his daughter was like crying. Like it's a meme. I said it to my wife because I thought it was hilarious. Not hilarious, but just like
poignant.
Like his daughter was crying about like some guy that dumped her or something like that. It's like, you got to be tough if you're going to be stupid. Like if you're going to do something stupid, you got to be tough if you're going to be stupid. Like,
right. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. But yeah, so then next scene, they're watching the funeral pyre. And they notice about 50 or so Elantris city guards detach from a group and gallop towards Keon's house. As the riders are approaching, Keon's like, should we barricade the entrance? And like Serene's like, what's this barricading thing? Like, oh yeah, by the way, we got this lever right here. If you pull this, it just collapses everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it like just brings down all of the stonework, I guess, or whatever, just collapses it all right there, and there's like no way. It makes it impenetrable.
Right.
And I forgot this
who
kind of
are
built,
you?
I forgot that the whole fortress is kind of built up like on the house. It's kind of built up on like a hill kind of structure, so it makes it almost impossible to break into. The only way you get into it is if you get somebody to lure somebody to come out of it, right?
It sounds like Hunky K is like a doomsday prepper. That's what it sounds like to me. He has his bunker ready to go. He's just
yeah, but I mean, we came to find out that he was a pirate, basically, right? So
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. And
there's another, someone posted on some social media the other day. I've been looking at a lot of that, but it's like 2012 watching Doomsday Preppers. Like, man, these guys are crazy. 2024 watching Doomsday Preppers. That's a cute bunker. It's
like a glamping bunker. I love it.
Just the perspectives change so much. Like, yeah, it's a good idea to go ahead and get ready for this crap.
Right.
It looks like it's going to get bad.
It could.
It could. Anyway, we laugh about it now.
I know. We laugh about it now. Shoot, who knows?
Anyways. So yeah, but Keon says no, we won't barricade it yet. And Raiden orders him not to do so, and he's like, I don't take orders from you. I'll respect you, but this is my house. Like, and I know you're supposed to. Raiden gives Keon some orders. So it's Raiden orders him like not to do so. And he's like, well, I wasn't going to anyway, but just to let you know, like in my house, like you're not my king. Like,
oh, okay.
I mean,
I kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Like, you know, that I respect you. I respect you, but
right.
Don't go barking orders at me. Not in my house.
Yeah, and that's not Karen's way anyway. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
sure. Yeah,
he kind of bucks the trends, and he's like, he does his own thing.
Well, so. Yeah. Well, later we find out who he is. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah. So, it proves unnecessary anyway to have this conversation because the soldiers come up and they're just like, "Hey, we're really desperate in need of a king right now, and we heard Raiden's up here. So, can we get someone to rule us? Because things are kind of getting out of hand."
Right.
So, yep. So, relieved by that, Raiden orders out messengers to every noble city that within an hour he'll have a coronation. Because he's concerned that Rathan might have some crazy plots up his sleeve and wants to, cut that out fast as possible.
Right.
Yeah. The next scene, he's addressing the large noble crowds. This is when they had the shift because it went from Serenity to Raiden, addressing the noble crowds, and Raiden only manages to begin his speech, but then he feels like something's manipulating the door. And someone he suspects is the Derethi priest that he saw before.
Now I feel like, and my memory could be messed up here, but I feel like in that moment something happened where he sees somebody react to him.
Yes.
Like they see that his visage is like changed.
Right. Right. Yeah, and his facade drops, and there he is in a Elantris. As it showed. And the whole left, everyone in the crowd just starts to freak out for a second, and then it's Serenity who stands up and comes to his defense and is like, "Why do we have to banish them? Like, he has a mind. He's your prince. He's still here. He can still talk. Like."
She does a good speech. She tells a great speech. And it's enough to get people like, the 80s slow clap, so.
You got the one, what's his name? Adam Sandler's friend.
Rob Schneider?
Rob Schneider, just in the, going, cut his fucking head off. Isn't that from Waterboy or something?
Yep, it's from Waterboy. Absolutely.
Waterboy. Yep. Yeah, cut his fucking head off. Yeah, so people, come behind him and like, despite him being a Elantris, they're like, yeah, we don't have to follow these rules anymore. The king's dead. We can write
Right.
whatever we want. So he's our king. Yay! And like Wraithen and Deloff are like, what?
Yeah, this is where Deloff's like, oh man, you let this
Deloff's like,
whole thing like mess up where you didn't, show how much we need to hate these guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
He's already pissed. He's on that rampage action now.
Yeah, Deloff gets pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so after that, Deloff storms out angrily towards the throne room. And was not expecting that reaction. Serene then explains to Raoden that the people of Erelon are ready to accept him as a man and that he will lead them well. But he admits that that might not have been the what happened if she didn't intervene.
Right.
And starts questioning who Deloff actually is just because the way he could manipulate the door. Like he's like, who is this person? Like, what's going on?
Because this is like, I really thought it was me, Wraithen, in this moment that was the one that's going to be manipulating the door. When it said it was Wraithen, I was like, I'm sorry. That was me. I said him backwards.
Yeah.
But Deloff doing it, I was like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, and what's going on here? So does that mean he has access to the door? And I was like, well, if that's the case, I feel like we've seen him do something with it before now.
But
so
he's being a secret.
Plus, he's not drawing ions. He's not drawing aeons.
He's not.
So whatever he's doing is something completely different and new than what we've seen before. So now here's a question I'm going to ask back to you, Alan, and say, was this foreshadowed somewhere earlier in the book and I missed it? Because this one really caught me off guard that he has the capability, as we get into the Sanderlanche here, that he has these magical capabilities outside of the door or Aeon door.
I have to go back and look. I think there is like a slight like mention
something that came up. Okay.
I think they mentioned the monks of the core or whatever. I think they mentioned that and talk about they have mystical abilities and stuff like that. I think
they do talk about that a little bit because they give a little bit of background about when
but they didn't link Deloff to them at all.
No, not at all. I feel like that was just like completely out of the blue. So I just again, that's the reason why it was such a surprise to me. I was like, there was no foreshadowing that this was coming.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's how we end chapter 56. 57. Wraithon observes all the series of events in the throne room, and he's starting to have like feelings about what Serene's trying to do, and he can't figure out. He's having mixed feelings. Like he sympathizes with Serene a little bit. Also, he hates this imposter that looks like Raoden. Like he's like, obviously it's an imposter. Raiden's dead. So like, but seeing Deloff leave, Wraithen follows him, noting that his plan is to ruin Serene's plot and admits that Deloff was right. That needs to happen.
So you're saying he was right about the fact that he should have went a little harder against the Elantrians?
Yeah. This point is where Wraithen's going. He's swinging back and forth throughout these chapters a lot. So.
Oh yeah, he does.
He does.
You really don't know his alignments for a good while.
He's confused as well.
Yeah, he's going to be
He's wrestling with his own beliefs through all this.
Yeah, it's rough because it's like you just keep waiting for him to do a heel turn any moment, right?
Right. Yeah, if Wraithen had concentrated more on the Elantrians, the people would have been too disgusted to grant Raoden.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
So he's like, maybe Deloff was right, but we should have turned people against the Elantrians more. But he's suspicious when Deloff turns out not to be heading towards the chapel, but towards the center of the city, and goes right into the market district. And Wraithon's just sitting there like, what's going on in the market? Like all the merchants here, and he looks around. He's like, those aren't merchants. Those are the monks of Dakor. And he's like, so for weeks, merchants have been pouring into the city, merchants, air quotes. And really, it's just been the monks building up their attack.
His reinforcements. His little army.
Yeah, the monks at the core are the most feared soldiers in all of Fordell. So, yeah.
Which we find out soon exactly what that's all about.
Oh, we do. Yep. So that's how we end this chapter with all the, their twisted warrior forms. So, like, we learned also a little bit about how they look. Like, they have a red plated skin, like where it's almost like
and it looks like the bone is kind of like twisted, but it's pushing up against the skin.
Right.
So it's like it looks like it's just a weird,
like almost like an exoskeleton.
Subdermal armor, basically. And that just and then it's like but it's twisted, and it's like it's like plating. The way it's described and the way I envision it, it's like it looks like it's plating under the skin.
Yeah, let's see if I can find a picture on. Okay. Let's see. This is a really freaky looking one. Let's see if I can share this. Let's go back to here. Share screen. Let's go with the Monks of Core image search. Sure. So like, kind of.
No, that's Attack on Titan. I know exactly who that is. That's the armored. Okay, that's from Attack on Titan. But that is actually a pretty good representation of what that might look like.
Yeah, and then Monk Search has a bunch of monks. But but kind of like probably like something like that where it's
that's the armored Titan from Attack on Titan. But I could see it. Did that make sense that it would be like that? It'd be like just like an armor, a subdermal armor.
Right.
And almost impenetrable. It's like like it's twisted, reinforced bone, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I can see
interesting.
That. Yeah.
So chapter 58. We got 3 point of views here, so we can switch around a lot. We have Raiden, Serini, and Rathan. So fun times. Raiden awakens to strange sounds in Royal's mansion. Immediately upon investigating, he finds Dakor monks. One of them is Delof, who disables Raiden. As he's attempting to arm himself, he gets disarmed. And they're pretty much just beating the crap out of everyone.
Was he getting ready to like draw like an ion or something? Or but I guess they all have the same ability to disrupt his access to the door. So
right. But then they break. They start beating the crap out of him, pretty much. At the walls of Elantris, this is where Serini runs into a mysterious beggar named Hoyd. Yeah, this guy named Hoyd.
Yeah, we'll find out more about this guy in the.
Did you recognize that? Did you recognize that name?
So interestingly enough, I did, and I feel like we started having a conversation when we were doing the Mistborn Era 1. We were having conversations about there might be a character that's like a side character that you probably don't pay attention to. Wasn't Hoyd the dude that was like a informant, blah blah blah, dude in Mistborn? Now I did not go back and read and look it up. I'm just going strictly off of memory. But I was like, he's the guy that was like the informant dude from the first one.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I kept equating Hoyd to Hodor when I first read. We were first reading it, so it was memorable enough to me.
Sure.
The name Hoyd.
Yeah.
Where when it came up again, I was like, "Oh, that's the same name."
Yeah.
So like it instantly clicked for me. So it wasn't like a surprise for me. It was just like, "Oh, this is the guy that's actually able to like kind of cross over or do some things."
Okay. Yeah. Hoyd.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to deliver a box of supplies to Galadin and Karada, revealing no one the contents, but their swords and bows. Get some weapons to the Elantrians. She delivers that and tells Hoyd, "Fly, you fools."
Fly, you fools. Nice. Good reference.
Yeah. As she rides back in her coach, the invasion catching up with her. She escapes from her coach. And she is saved from a Dakor monk by Kian, who beats the living crap out of him with
That was a harrowing scene, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she sees the city's burning.
Yeah.
She sees these dudes slaughtering folks in the streets.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, we need to go and whatever. Yeah. And one of them jumps up. I think he jumps up onto the top.
Yeah, he leaps all the way top of the building. Like
onto the top of like their carriage.
Spider-Man shit.
Which means that her carriage driver's dead. You know, it's just done. He's done. And so she's like, what am I gonna do now? You know? And I was like, how's she gonna get out of this bucket of syrup?
Yeah.
And then a hunky K, because I guess we were close enough.
Yeah.
To where he was, that he was able to, jump in and do some things. He came and
wielded a battle axe, right?
He brought that battle axe, baby. the axe that was up on the wall or whatever.
The wall, the center of the wall.
Yeah, it's just been sitting there. And he's like, it ain't just for show.
Nope.
This guy, Hunky K.
Hunky K.
And obviously being a pirate, ex-pirate and whatever, he knows how to wield that thing. He's not just like, oh, this was an award for, I don't know, sewing needle stuff or something.
But Serenity recognizes the Aeon on the axe. It's like, wait, that's
a pirate. About the Aeon on the
it's like that belonged to a pirate, a famous pirate that like tried to kill my dad. Yeah. And he's like, yeah. So no.
That's right. And
he's like, this is where he's like, yeah. So about your dad, my brother.
Oh, that's right. He admits it to her. Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't a pirate. I was kind of crazy in my ways. I used to run the whole fleet, and I went out to sea, and my younger brother stole the throne from me, and I came back to attack him.
The whole throne, yeah.
Yeah, you usurped the whole throne. And I came back to attack him. They labeled me as a pirate, but no, I was taking what was rightfully mine.
What? By the way, this pirate name, and I will never forget this because I was like, "What a pirate name, Crush Throat."
Crush Throat.
What kind of pirate? That's a fearful name right there, Crush Throat. You know exactly what he's going for if he fights you. He's like, "I'm going for your jugular."
Yeah,
crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. So all this is going down, and like Raytheon goes to Deloff. It's like, what the hell, dude? Like, we had the whole city, we were converting them, and while the massacre is going on, and like Deloff turns around and says, like, this was the plan all along. The conversion thing was just like, no, this was all just kind of. It's like, you can't talk to me that way. It's like, and he's basically shows like his true colors. He's like, yes, I can. I'm the head of the entire monastery. I outrank you.
Yeah,
like you were supposed to be a subservient of me. In fact, you served under me until you dropped out like a little bitch.
Yeah, he was that Kendrick Lamar. He was like, hold up, little bitch, sit down. Hold up, bitch, be humble.
Yeah. You'll know who you're in front of. I'm actually way more powerful than you. And Raytheon's like, what the fuck? So,
and he has no recourse at this point in time. What's he gonna do? I mean, he's shoot.
Yeah, he's a Greg.
That was rough.
So the Gorns are like the highest of priests, but Gragdets are the heads of the monasteries, and they're higher up than Gorns. So
now I watched a YouTube video today because I was just doing a recap of like like the book and everything.
Sure.
And I love the fact that one of the videos pointed out that at the very beginning of this book, it talks about the order of like all the religious factions,
right?
And how the Gorn is like here and etc. Yeah. And I was like, oh shoot! So that was all telegraphed way not that we committed it to memory, but
exactly
way back in the early parts of the book that it's very clearly laid out. They're up here,
right?
So
very much so. And Raytheon thinks back to his own brief initiation into the Dakor monastery, but he didn't make it through. He started the process of transformation, but only his arm or whatever is transformed, and not.
Well, I don't think at that time we don't know.
We don't know yet.
Part of him was transformed.
Sure. Good point.
So it's sorry. That was a great foreshadowing that.
Yeah.
Just because he started it and left early doesn't mean he didn't have anything happen to him. It just means that we
know that he was there.
Right. Yeah. Something could have happened, but we don't know if if he had any part of him altered.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's how we end 58. A lot of stuff happens. 58's actually the rest of this book's a whole lot of action. So here's what it is. Hello, Sleven11. So 59. Ready?
Yep.
All right. So Raiden awakens as a hostage, but he's basically taking a massive blow to his head and is pretty much like brain dead.
Right.
Like, he can't even talk anymore. He's pretty much just like, I think of like massive head trauma.
Right, because even though he's got these like new powers, not powers, but the ability to use aeons, he's still affected by the Shaod. So all this stuff, the pain, all that kind of stuff, just sticks with him.
Right, you can't
and
heal.
He's just brutally beaten. So he's in a bad shape, like crazy bad shape.
Yeah. He tries to shout because he knows his Dilop's about to besiege Keon's house, but like nothing comes out but just gurgles because he's just it's pretty bad. It's kind of funny. He's very lucid in this moment, but just his body's not working right at all because everything's broken and destroyed. Sereni's completely distraught to see Raiden captive. But and they try to make a trade. But she says we'll not trade lives of anyone in Keon's house.
That's right, because they're trying to coax him out and be like, they're trying to dangle him as like, coming out here, we got your boy.
Yeah, we got your king. We'll give him back if you come out. And Serena offers herself up. But as she goes to offer herself up, realizes it's too late anyway because the darker monks have already scaled the building. They're already there.
Right.
They ambush Keon, taking them captive. Dilof demands Wraith and Sion to communicate to Ventio to inform him for terms of surrender because they have his daughter. Though Dilof has no intentions of admitting it, he just wants to murder the king anyway and spread, he wants to spread it that way. He doesn't want to actually do this diplomatically. He's just trying to disarm, make it very easier to get in there to assassinate.
Yep.
Wraithen starts getting very conflicted, and then starts to eventually in this chapter openly revolts against Dilop's campaign. Like thinks this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Everything about this is wrong. Like this is not. Yeah, you're just
because the thing is though, Wraithen is committed to the idea of conversion, and now he realizes Dilop doesn't give two craps about conversion. All he cares about is decimation.
Yeah,
he just wants to destroy all of these people, just wipe them off the map.
Yeah,
and I think this is the part where he has a realization that he was involved, and him and that faction were involved in the destruction of.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the city's escaping me right now.
But was involved.
Duodel, thank you, Duodel. I knew it began with a D. That he was involved in that. So
yeah.
It's all coming full circle. He's like, oh,
genocide. He's all about genocide.
And he has expressed numerous times throughout the book how badly he felt about that genocide in Duodel. That it has always been something that's just not sat right with him. So
and then after capturing all the people, almost as an afterthought, Dilop's like, and just impales Raiden with a sword. And of course, the Raiden starts muttering the Hoyed, not Hoyd, the Hoyed mantra. Failed my love, over and over again.
That's right. There's a difference between the two. They're close.
There's a difference, yeah.
Right.
Hoy jokes about it in the postscript.
The Hoyed, and there's Hoyed.
He jokes about it in the postscript.
I don't remember that. I'm going to look for that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, he does. He's like, it sucks that I came to a planet where like they have this thing that's the same name as me. Failed my love. But Diloph orders the Elantrins to be rounded up and burned.
Yeah.
Burn them all.
Right.
Yeah. Remember when I said that you're going to hate that you love Wraithen?
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. I mean, I was already softening on him a bit. I feel like
he has a good arc. in this book.
My most hate for him was poisoning Sereni and turning her into one of the Shaod. But after that, it kept getting softer and softer and softer because I just feel like he was just like, I was like, there's something nuanced about this guy.
I mean, if one movie in particular has taught me anything, you can literally commit genocide and destroy entire civilizations and be a mass murderer. And as long as you do one good act at the very end, you're completely redeemed, right?
We get Star Wars.
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker, right?
Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. So,
I mean, the dude like just slaughtered. I mean,
he blew up Alderaan. He literally blew up an entire planet of people.
Wait, slaughtered younglings. I mean, this guy did some like hateful stuff, and yet and still like Return of the Jedi. They're like, oh, he's got a Force ghost. Like,
yeah.
That does not sound right. Anyway,
yeah,
he's one of the ones. By the way, the fact that I have a car named after him and everything, though, I'm like, I'm all a fan of this guy. I'm like, whatever.
There you go.
Darth Vader, my dude. By the way, rest in peace. It's been a while since we recorded, but rest in peace, James Earl Jones, man.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
The voice that was before Morgan Freeman, because Morgan Freeman is now the voice, right? It was like you just put his voice on everything. But back before then, it was James Earl Jones. His voice was like the iconic voice on everything.
What's Simba's mom's name in Lion King?
Simba's
mom.
Because I think it's Nala, and Nala's the girl. But
the girl. But the mom is. So in the original, Mufasa's voiced by James Earl Jones, and
right. I cannot remember.
Actress that voices.
And I think she was in Coming to America, wasn't she?
So, and that's what I was getting at. It's because the King Queen Coming to America was James Earl Jones and her. So they heard
right.
Right. And they're also Mufasa.
Right. What's her name? I feel like her name's Madge Sinclair.
Yeah.
Madge Sinclair, and I love her.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's right. It was James Earl Jones, Madge Sinclair. Yes,
yeah. Good
call. Good call back on that one.
Yeah. Say it again.
Say it again.
Ooh. All right, chapter 60. So we're in Galadin's point of view. He's watching Raitha and his companions leave the mansion. Galadin quickly creeps up to find Raiden's body completely taken by the Hoyad, and he's just like reciting the mantra, and they're like, I guess we gotta go throw him into the lake. That's what he wanted.
Right.
Yeah, Karada urges him on, but Galadin has made a promise to fulfill. Throw him in the lake. After which he insinuates giving her the same, like if something happens to him, do the same to me. Luke Kell watches his Uncle Keine fight off 3 Dakor monks before eventually being subdued. And then the rest are all taken captives and herded off to Elantris. So then the Dakor monks with Delof and Rathan teleport to Teod. So they can use some kind of magic to teleport.
But they have to kill one of the monks to do it. I remember that clearly. It was like...
It's blood magic.
Right. So it's like you have to sacrifice yourself.
Before.
Huh? Would you say?
Blood magic before.
Blood magic. We've seen it before. In this book?
Nope.
Okay.
Hemalurgy. From Mistborn, when you use spikes and sex.
Sorry. I thought we were talking about killing
We're still in the Cosmere.
And killing somebody to perform one act. But you're talking about using someone sacrificially, even if it's just to imbue you with powers. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So we've seen that kind of stuff before. So
yes.
Just put a little.
It's always dark. I'm going to go to the Harry Potter thing and say it's dark magic, though. It's always dark magic.
Oh, yeah. Always.
You start doing that.
Yeah, necromancy.
You can do amazing things.
I mean, you don't need good necromancers. I mean, that's true.
Hey. Al, that's a good one, man. I've never met a good no necromancer's ever been the hero, I guess. I mean, but
No.
somebody's probably written sci-fi somewhere about it. But yeah,
I'm about to write a book, man. The Good Necromancer. He's just misunderstood.
I hope it looks like, what's this movie that's out now, The Good Robot or whatever it's called. I hope it looks just like, make the poster just like reminiscent of that, where it's like just the good necromancer. He's just like sitting there. It's like he's holding a chipmunk.
Harry Potter, R.I.P. Maggie Smith.
I know. Thank you. I thought she was going to live forever. Dame Maggie Smith. I mean, and by the way, I'm a huge Agatha Christie fan, for anybody that cares. And she was in 2 Agatha Christie movies, played 2 different characters. Love her to death. And then, of course, I loved her in all the Harry Potter books. But then she did Downton Abbey, which just brought her into her own. Yeah, the Dowager Countess, right? I think that's her name, or her title is Dowager Countess. But loved her. Yeah, definitely R.I.P. there. We lost some really amazing people this year so far. Rough.
It has. So after they teleport to Teode, they go to a nearby rooftop. Deloff watches the ships in the fleet head out to the bay, and Deloff just says, "Hey, we'll just wait here." In the meantime, Deloff reveals the origin of his hatred to Elantris, to Rathan. Starts going on about his backstory.
Yeah, his boo.
Mm-hmm.
This is all because he lost his boo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Left his wife. So Elantris had come to try to help and couldn't heal her and left her in agony.
And of course, now, if I am making a connection that's not really a connection, correct me. I feel like this story is the other side of a story we heard earlier. We were told about a procedure that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is the exact same story being told from the other
side. Right.
And I was like, and I have not had a chance to look it up to confirm that. So please, anybody correct me if I'm wrong. But if that's the case, that's brilliant writing. Because the moment it happened, I was like, is this the same story that we were told like 20 chapters ago about a procedure that went incorrectly in Elantris? If that's the case, that it basically was the catalyst for somebody bringing down an entire country.
Yep.
I was like, hands up, Brandon Sanderson. You win this one. Yeah. If that's the case, but I haven't confirmed it. So
yeah. I think it is actually. I might confirm the notes.
Yeah, but the stories were so similar though. When he talked about how he brought her in to get healed, and I remember clearly, and I feel like it was, I feel like it was Galadin that told the story, or somebody like that told the story.
I think it was Galadin,
and I was like, is this the same story told from the other side? I was like mind blown. It's like the Tim and Eric gif, all that. So, well, look, I don't care to know the truth right now. I'm going to hold it in my head as being,
that is the truth,
that it is the truth, and be like, that was brilliant storytelling. So, because it stuck with me the whole time it's been said in this chapter, it just stuck with me. I was like, I feel like this is the same story about the same person.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, noticing Shuden presumably preparing to fight his way free. So we switch back over to Lukel.
Right.
He steals himself to provide backup. And then we switch over to Galadon, who is venturing up the mountainside. And Raiden's in there trying to say something. And he's just trying to speak. And he's floating in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
He's trying to fight the pain because he's like, I figured it out. Don't do this.
And so this is traumatic for me because I was not like real life. I was reading the Walking Dead comic books.
Okay.
And infamously, there was this scene. Everybody knows this issue where, and it was actually in the Walking Dead show as well, where Negan brutally beats Glenn to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the comic books, the way that was drawn was crazy brutal, but he was trying to say something, but his head had already been kind of bashed in and stuff. Yeah. And I had like flashbacks of that.
Yeah.
With Raiden trying to speak. He's trying to speak.
Yeah.
He's got all this brain damage now. And
I was going to bring that up as an example, or from Breaking Bad, when what's his name gets blown up and half his face is missing, and he comes out and Justice Todd. Gus. Fring. Yeah, but like also still has enough with it just to come outside and just.
Man, the guy comes out. Man, Giancarlo Esposito is like the classiest dude I've ever seen on TV, and he comes out, and it was so him, and he just like straightens his tie.
Yeah, the camera pans around, and like half his head's blown off.
Yeah, the face is like he's like Two-Face, just like just nothing.
Yep. Yeah. So they reach the pool. Galadin and Karada lay Raiden for a moment down beside the pool. Before they wade in, we switch back because there's the pyres in Elantris, and Adian saunters away from the crowd, but a Director soldier orders him back into the line, and before slashing his sword across Adian's chest, when he doesn't obey, but no blood comes out. This is when because Adian was the son of Keon, who could do all the math numbers and stuff like that. And they all thought, no one knew he had been taking the chair because they had put makeup on him the entire time.
Man, and that was kept so down low.
Yeah.
And now you realize he was taken by the Shea the whole time. Yeah.
And he did all the numbers, like steps and stuff like that, like how many steps.
Right.
He's like, kind of like Rain Man, autistic kind of thing. Like this.
Yeah.
Definitely 500.
You never saw him do much. You didn't see him.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, just definitely 563. Definitely.
Yeah. So it's almost like he was like partially taken by the Hood or something. It's just like he was just kind of like on that edge, the nice edge of the turnover, change or whatever you want to call that. Yeah.
Yep. Diloff reveals he's also the one who convinced Raythun to leave the Dakor ministry.
This is where Brandon lost me a little bit. I feel like he'd remember that.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like Raythun remembered a lot of stuff in detail.
Yeah.
How would he have forgotten Diloff? I mean, the way it's told is kind of like Diloff kind of made it seem like he was like the puppet master behind the whole thing. But they would have had interactions. I was like, it's such a formative time in his life. I think he would remember that.
Yeah, unless it was kind of like behind the scenes, like it wasn't him directly, but indirectly.
I guess. Yeah, that's the way I tried to suspend disbelief when I was reading this part. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought of it too. It's just like he's sitting there with the marionette. He's like, dance for me or whatever. So, oh
well. He approaches Eventio, and Raytheon just thinks back to the thoughts to rebel against Diloff. And he starts to overhear Diloff whispering to Sereni that she's disease, and all the stuff that he muses about killing her in front of her father instead. And Raytheon's hearing all this, and he's starting to like come around, like this is wrong.
Right.
This is wrong.
Because this whole ploy is all, them trying to fade the king out of position, right? So that way that they can basically destroy the boats, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So the perspective is important here.
Yeah. Then we switch back to Raiden again. His mind's being assaulted by visions from Aeon Reo. He's trying to suppress it as another image forms, and he sees the city of Elantris itself and realizes that the city layout itself is a giant Aeon.
Mm-hmm.
That the way it's designed is a gigantic Aeon. And it's like the cork on the power or whatever. And So
just like all the Aeons, all you have to do is just make it look like representative of what's going on. Right.
Yep. And so he surprises everyone when he awakens, struggles to regain control of his body, and then surprises Galadon and Karada when he suddenly screams and they drop him. And
that part I don't get. I don't get how all of a sudden I understand the realization is good, but how all of a sudden he overcomes whatever he's been dealing with.
Well, he gets flooded in with I think Door, right?
Yeah, the Andor does kind of hit him in a way that it doesn't hit everybody else. He's been talking about that for a while now.
Right. So it gives him that burst of strength.
Episodes. So
but he gets a little burst of strength. He gets a Super Saiyan moment.
Super Saiyan. Nice. Well done, Alan. I like that one.
And they drop him, and he staggers into the pool. Dun, dun, dun. And that's how we end that chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 61. 1 square, 4 circles. Aeon Rayon, the spirit of Elantris is what it's called. Aeon Rayon.
That's the name of the chapter?
No, that's what it says. There's a quote in the beginning or whatever. The chapter.
Oh, okay.
So to Aventio's horror, Delof begins cutting Serenity's throat. And Raythan finally says he's had enough. Like, this is enough.
Yeah.
This is finally deciding to act. He goes and hits Delof. Delof immediately turns at him, jabs a knife at Raythan. But Raythan's wearing his armor. So, yeah. And
the famous red armor he's been wearing the whole time.
Yep.
So, why would he not be wearing it here?
Yeah.
He's going to always wear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Raythan's satisfied, telling Delof, that, he has sleeves up his sleeve. This is when he shows his forearm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. His mangle bone, blah, 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 forearm. Right.
Yeah. He smashed it in Delof's face. And then warns Aventio of Fordell's coming invasion that his is all ploy. They're going to attack you. Run. And Raythan takes Sereni and tries to, escape as well as monks swarm down, everything like that. The pool, and we switch to Raiden now. So Raiden's in the pool, and the pool's beckoning him to keep on going, but he rejects it and bursts out, surprising Galadon and Karada. And then at this point, somewhat healed, starts running down the mountain.
Right.
The pool kind of did something there.
Yeah.
Shuden finally realized, or we switch over to Shuden, who finally retaliates, and Lukal joins the fray, but they're really overwhelmed really quickly. Raythan holds on his own against the Dokor monks, just barely. We're switching back and forth between 2 different cities and different characters. It's like kind of like pop constantly here.
It's 3 places, right? Because I mean, it's
at the Elantris City Center.
Elantris, right?
Teod.
We're talking city center of I can't remember Teod. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then
on the mountain.
The pool. Yeah. Serene's home country, basically. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
these switches are so quick. By the way, it's just like boom, 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 boom. It's like it just pops around.
Yeah, it's definitely Sandra Lynch, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was, and we were talking about this earlier. That was really overwhelming for me.
Yeah,
listening to it as an audiobook.
Oh yeah,
because it just kept switching, switch.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of commotion beyond the monks as Aventio's honor guard joins the battle. Sereni indicates that there's an open door, so they both jump into it. Raythan and Sereni together. Then they find themselves a cellar, while then they hide while the Dokor monks, leave, try to follow them. They didn't find them. So emerging from the cellar door, love cellar door. That's Tolkien said it's the most beautiful phrase in the English language.
Say what?
Cellar door.
What about it?
That it's the most beautiful sounding like phrase in the English language.
Who said that?
Tolkien.
Why?
He liked the way it sounds. So a lot of fantasy writers will use it. So like in Wheel of Time, you have a town called Salador.
That's right. That's right.
There is like so there's lots of like if you read a lot of fantasy, there's lots of like things played off of Salador. Like there's you can go Google it. There's a whole bunch of like where it sounds like Salador.
This is my first time ever hearing this. Wow,
it's a homage to Tolkien.
But you're right. That it does come up a lot.
Yeah,
Salador.
Because Tolkien had a whole thing about how it's the most beautiful,
dissatisfying to say and to hear. I guess
to hear. Yeah, it was beautiful. Like how a lot of French and Italian is beautiful, but English doesn't have very much beauty in the language. And Tolkien said that cellar door is the English equivalent of beauty. But as far as a beautiful sounding phrase, not that it means anything. A cellar door is not beautiful by itself, but the sound of the phrase.
All right. Well, today I learned, and I will look that up.
Yeah, you can Google it. There's a bunch of stuff about it. It's interesting. Let's see. Where were we? So they emerge from the cellar. Rathan removes his armor, calling it a burden. And he says he no longer deserves it because he's not betrayed his kind.
Sounds like a dumb decision where you're still fighting people, but okay.
Yeah. It's a bold move, kind. I don't have it ready.
Don't worry about it. I did it for you.
Yeah. Serene questions on why he did what he did, and Rathan simply says, "Delof's evil and is trying to massacre. Trying to do a massacre is not serve Janet. That's not what Janet is." And
right.
So he's like, "No, we're not doing that."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We switch back to Raiden. He's at the foot of the mountain. He picks up a big stick and just draws a line behind him and just runs across the courtyard. Meanwhile, Galadin and Karada try to protect Raiden as he's drawing this line.
Because he still has people chasing him.
Oh, yeah.
And Galadon and Karada are chasing as well. But there's all these soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Portal soldiers that are there because they're burning all the bodies.
Yeah,
right there in the courtyard.
Yeah, so this whole thing is just chaotic.
Yeah,
and he just randomly grabs a stick, and I was like, thinking he's gonna do something with it. Nope, he just starts dragging the ground. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. And Galadin gets lanced, and Karada gets beheaded.
Yeah, that's rough though. Karada. Did she have to go?
Fuck stuff. But Raiden finishes the line. As soon as he's done, literally light explodes from the ground. It's just like
boom.
And the power of the door just washes away all of the pain. Everything starts to heal immediately. All the city of Elantris complex starts to glow again. Bright lights. All the mold and everything just fades away instantly. And the people start to heal instantly back to Elantrians. And of course, the soldiers are just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
And the Elantrians start to just walk out of the fire pyres completely unharmed. Basically immune. And Raiden arrives, destroying one of the Darkor monks and demanding that the others leave. Just goes and destroys it with the light, just like. But
did he give him a warning or something? And he was like, "Hey, don't end up like this guy," something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was something of that nature.
See, it wasn't just that he was wearing the armor. They mentioned early on that most other priests wear fake commercial armor. Yeah, they did, and that Raiden was actually real. Yeah,
I didn't remember that it was ceremonial armor for most everybody else, and that he wore real armor.
Wore the real armor.
I didn't remember that. That's probably an easily overlooked thing from this book that I didn't pay attention to. So good call out.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yep.
Definitely. That's how we end this chapter. Going on to chapter 62. Yeah. This is second to last chapter. The penultimate.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back with Serene's point of view, but Rathan's trying to make plans to smuggle Serene out of Teod on her merchant ship. under the impression that Deloff would not follow and spare Tio just to follow her.
Right.
Unlike Doolittle, Raytheon exposes himself and admits to his guilt from his own past and atrocities that he did. Yeah. And
That's right. And then he gets in that fight.
And he gets in a fight with Fionn.
I didn't pay attention to the name that much. I just know
it was one of the monks. But yeah, and
it was a monk. And then he gets in a fight, and then it looks like it's all a wrap for him.
Yep. And Serene tries to heal him, but no, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to revive Serene is interrupted by a group of Dark Horde monks and Beloff. Yep. They switch back over to Raiden, who finishes healing Lukel, and Ash comes to inform them to Raiden that Teod's under attack and that Serene's there. And Raiden's eventually like, okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna go teleport there. And they're like, are you stupid? Like I think it's Galadon that comes down. It's like, that's not how that works.
He's like, definitely Galadon. Yeah, he's
like, dude, that's not how it works. Like, he's like, what do you mean it's not how it works? He's like, if you don't know exactly where you're going, like, you can teleport to the middle of the ocean. Like, you have to have an exact measurement. Like,
you could teleport in the middle of a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, it's just like suicide. Yeah. Going back to Star Wars reference, it's like trying to jump to hyperspace without doing your plotting first. You'll just bounce into a black hole or into a supernova. You just can't do
that. Know. Exactly. You still have to. Well, I mean, I don't know exactly how the teleportation stuff works here, but like Star Wars, they were always like, you gotta make sure there's nothing in the path that you're traveling. Yeah, you're going light speed. You're still traveling
right
across that. So you can make sure there's nothing in the way. I don't know how it works for this. Right. So a lot of considerations.
Right. So, he begins to draw the ion, but God eventually dissuades him, saying this is stupid. It's too dangerous to do it. And then Aiden just appears and he's like, yeah, it's a 565 million blah, blah, blah steps. It's like everything's
right. It's right.
And he's like, what? He's like, I don't know how I know that, but that's how many steps it is to TO. Like, oh, you want to go to the docks? Add 3 more steps. It's like,
again, Rain Man situation there.
Yeah. So
347,000 steps.
Yeah. And Raiden's like, all right, well, I guess I'll use the measurement. So he draws it, does the measurement, and poof.
And then like doubles it or whatever it was. I can't remember. It's like something about he needed to like double it or have it.
He took a stride and I have to.
Oh, that's right. He took a stride and then his stride compared to the other. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he have to. Yeah.
There it was. Yeah.
And teleports himself to Teod, and right to where he needs to. And as soon as he gets there, the monks turn because he just appears on the docks. The monks turn towards him, and he sends light towards him. Realizes it's not as powerful there as it is back in Elantris. He realizes the further he is from Elantris, it's not as powerful, but still holds his own. But Deloff then shows up.
But that explains why the people of Elantris were not able to like just move out away from the city
and go heal people far away and
and do all this stuff outside the city. Why was the city so important? It's because they had drawn this Aeon basically on the ground,
right?
And that's what gave them all the power.
Right.
Yep.
And Deloff grabs a hold of Serene and teleports them about 50 feet away from the monks. Attempting to escape, Raiden. Raiden grabs Serene. Not Deloff. Grabs her from, and then teleports like 50 feet. So that's easy to draw. Yeah, teleported that way. Of course, then they see him, and they start running towards him. It's just like, oh, just going over there to the top of the building. All right. Yeah, so as they're trying to escape, Raiden and Serene flee on the docks, but they spot King of NTL right on the alleyway. And Serene's like, I can't leave my dad. And he's like, dude, we gotta go. Like, I really want to save Pops and everything like that, but like, we can't stay. And finally he's like, all right, fine. Like, go save your dad. And how also the monks run abnormally fast. So like they're approaching like crazy speed. So Raiden's an attack But Diloff, Radiant's going to attack Diloff himself, but then backup arrives right as he's about to do it, and just all the Elantrians pour out from teleporting and just start throwing out light beams, just like laser beams everywhere. It's kind of like Avengers type style.
Yeah, this is a
open the portals and like
situation. Though I was like, wait, what? How? What? Explain.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that scene from Avengers where like,
absolutely,
opens all the portals, and everybody comes out. It's like,
and Wong goes, "What? You want more?" Yeah, it was definitely that situation. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, "Why?
Avengers?
How? Nope, nope." I was like, "Explain it," which he does, but yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so Galadon arrives. He's leading the group and leads a large barrage against the monks, and they start just blowing people up left and right. Knowing few options remain, Diloff then scrambles down the alleyway, trying to go hunt down King Aventio, get some leverage. Serena notices that and urges Raiden to pursue. But once he does, of course, Diloff ambushes him and wounds Raiden. But Forgotten, Serena surprises Diloff by attacking him with the sword she found. But she's unable to, she's a little, like, she's not small, but she's not able to do anything.
Right.
So she suffers a wound herself. And then as they are both laid there, pretty much defeated, about to die, who shows back up from the dead? Raiden.
By the way, I feel like we skipped over the part where the ladies that she was training to do the fencing thing, tried to defend. That was like a few chapters ago.
That was a few chapters ago. Yeah, we just skipped over that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they didn't really have as much impact as you hope they would. No. I was really hoping they were going to be like badass and be like, got you.
Yeah.
But no, not so much. Anyway, but now it's her, and she does have skill, because remember, she was able to spar with Raiden.
No, yeah, she was good.
So she's got some capability.
She's good with the staff. Yeah. Nice. Good with the staff. But yeah, she was able to hold her in a little bit, but there's some
not
strong
to that level though.
Not to that level.
And plus, we come to find out that Diloff's like hella old though too. So the guy's like got experience on experience. So
yeah. But then Raiden, shows back up and uses his strong hand. Grab my strong hand. But yeah, and chokes him out before he finally dies from his own wounds. But kills Diloff. So Galadin arrives to report that Teod Armada is holding its own against Fordel, and that all is well. So Diloff's dead, Raiden's dead, Karada's dead. Pretty much half of everyone's dead, but they've won.
Right. And we missed the part too where Unky K took out the dude by he killed him by chopping him in the throat like 1,000 times. Yeah. We missed that part too, but
I said he took out 3 guys. I glanced over it. I did say that, but
okay, we did talk. Okay, anyway,
I glanced over it. I think I did,
because that was the reason why he's got the name. It's like all he does. He's like, I get him in the throat.
Yeah. Crush throat, right? Crush
throat. Yes.
So chapter 63, the final chapter before the epilogue. Serena insists not letting Raiden out of her sight until they're married. At ceremony, they have a little speech. Everything's happy. He's worried that Worm may find out, a way to access the door as well. And that the Foreign may have their own version of Aendor based on what Diloff did. And he's considering different ways to access the door, just in case the Darkcore monks do show up again, that he can repeat them. But the book kind of, at least the main part of the book, ends with the ceremony closing, with Serena hinting to looking forward to their wedding night.
Right.
That's how and then we go to the epilogue. So, epilogue, a week passed since the wedding between Serena and Raiden. During this time, of course, the throne of Erelon had been restored, but of course, it's now been changed a lot. A lot of the rules have been changed. The serfdom has been abolished. Sereni and Raiden gather with Shuden, Galadon, and Lucao's families for Rathan's funeral. And they do the whole funeral thing for him.
Yep.
And said, yeah, you might not have liked what he said while he was alive, but, he died a hero, and he was a hero, and he deserves a hero's death. And he's buried along.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of other people there too that you're like, honoring.
Yep. Yeah, because he's also buried next to Royal, Eondel, Karada, Iodon, and Salin. The area containing these graves has become a memorial to the victims and the heroes of the invasion of Erelon. Sereni gives a short speech about all Rathan's contributions in the restoration of Elantris. And
think of the irony of that. The irony that Sereni is the one that gives the speech about Rathan, considering the fact that they were like basically like enemies the entire book.
Yep.
And then she's the one that ends up giving the honorifics about him. So interesting.
And that's how we end the book with, he was a savior and a hero.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the end, he was redeemed. He had the best arc, I think, out of everyone.
He had a great arc. Absolutely had a great arc. I agree with the statement about, you hate the fact that you like him now, kind of, but I mean, you can't ignore the fact that the guy had a heel turn. It was not like a surprise heel turn. He always stuck to his morals.
Yeah.
And when he saw that someone was challenging those morals within his own religious sect, he was like, I can't abide by this. The dude did not abide. I'm going to go ahead and use that statement there.
Yeah.
Just the Big Lebowski.
Originally, this is how the book ended. A couple years later, it was redone and a postscript was added.
Yes.
So we are going to do the postscript as well. So if you have read the original version and have not read the postscript, don't be spoiled. Bye.
It doesn't really spoil much of anything, but
but if you just want to read
it's good information.
It is. So
because it doesn't spoil anything unless you know it beyond the context of the face value of what's said. Right.
Yes. And I can't even get into this too much without spoiling too much. So so the postscript was actually appeared on the 10th anniversary edition of the book. So
that's right, 10th anniversary edition. Yep.
10th anniversary edition. So Hoyd is standing next to the pool, and he's sitting next to an Sion. Kind
of a Sion, though.
Kind of a Sion.
It's not really the same Sion because it's like a regular Sion seems to kind of have a glow.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the exact inverse. It seems like it's like
it's a dark hovering sphere
version of a Sion. I clearly remember that. I was like, wait a minute, you don't have a regular Sion, because it was like it wasn't really obvious that you could see it.
Yeah, there's some little hints.
Yeah,
this is the fun stuff. This is the fun Cosmere stuff. So he unwraps the bandages from his face, and he's surprised. He's like, "Damn it, I didn't transform." And Sion's like, "Did you think it would?" Or I'm gonna say Sion. The dark hovering sphere was like, "Did you think it would?" And it was like, "What do you know? You're just some AI created thing anyway." Like he said something along that. It's like, "You're not really sentient." Like he's like, "I'm sentient. I feel." He's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Like, how long did it take you to learn how to do that? Like there's some witty banter back and forth. Accusing Hoyd of failure transformation. But Hoyd says, I'm not disappointed by it. It is what it is. Because I said, I see the beauty that there are always more secrets. As Kelsier once said, there's always another secret to investigate. Yeah. And that he loves puzzles. And then Hoyd steps into the pool and vanishes.
Yeah, he steps into some void something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. And that was like the end of the thing. And I was like,
great. I don't think they named what it was. I think it was a pool, right? Or did they name it? Did they name it, or was it a pool?
No, they named it.
What they call it?
Oh, I don't remember, because remember, I'm listening to the audiobook, so I couldn't go back and like.
Did they call it a perpendicularity?
It's something like that.
Okay,
but I know they
yeah. So in the notes it said
the name was explicitly said.
Okay,
I just didn't commit it to memory.
The perpendicularity. Yeah.
Yeah. So
did they name?
No, but it wasn't. Whatever it was called was something that was
Devotions.
I didn't remember it.
It was devotions. I think it said devotions, but that's
devotion. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, you've read
Whatever it
Elantris,
was.
so now since you read Elantris, I can give you some backstory on that.
Okay.
So we had on Mistborn on Scadrial, you had ruin and preservation. Both of them joined together at the very end with Caesar.
Right.
The name of whether we call it a god, whatever you want to call it, is devotion on Cell. That's the name. It's devotion.
Oh, okay.
So this is all stuff that you'll learn when you read Arcadium Unbound, which we're not going to do a whole episode on that. So that's why I'm. So spoilers for anyone that doesn't listen to all this. This is where you can click away. But yeah, devotion is the name there.
Okay.
And of the, I guess we got into this one of the shard because we talked about shards, right? Yeah, because it was the two shards of ruin and preservation. Yeah.
Yes.
So devotion's the shard on Cell. So yeah, that gives.
So what does that have to do with you said perpendicularity?
Yeah, the particularity.
Okay.
It
the shard on this planet?
It was devotion's perpendicularity. That's all I'm going to give you because it's spoilers for Stormlight. You will learn all about those.
Okay, got it. All right,
you will learn all about it. But yeah,
that's fair enough. No worries. Yeah. I mean, I'm not asking you to divulge too much or anything. I'm fine with that.
But yeah, Hoyt steps in and disappears.
Yep. Him and his magic ball. We will not call
it's not quite an Aeon, and they
said it's an Aeon because the way it was described was not.
Well, they said it was created
so similar,
it's like,
but
it's like almost like AI kind of thing, like created. But it doesn't say who created it.
So I'm curious.
It's so futuristic type stuff that but Hoyt's kind of a little mysterious.
We'll see.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do in 2 weeks is we're going to read just The Hope for Elantris. It's in Arcanium Unbounded.
Okay.
That book that we got that has all the short stories. We did we did one of them off of this.
Right. We did the one. It was like the training montage.
The training montage of Kelsier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is called The Hope for Elantris. So we'll do that one next. That will be 1 week, and then we'll break up Emperor's Soul, which is also takes place on the same planet, but a different.
Is that also Arcanum Unbound?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Also,
got it. So, all right. So next go around.
Next week is just Hope for Elantris, and then we'll come back. We'll come back for 2 episodes in November. Will be between Thanksgiving and after Halloween. Before Thanksgiving, we'll do the 2. What did it just say? The Emperor Soul, which is also on Cell, same world as Elantris, and then in December we'll start Way of Kings, Stormlight Archive.
Okay, sounds like a plan. I trust you.
I think that's the plan for now, and then I'm trying to think of all the books for do it. Let me make sure. Yeah, still not sure where we'd throw it. White Sands. That's the only one I don't know where it's good. It's graphic novel, which I know you'll.
Oh, the graphic novel, right? Yeah, make sure you let me know about that because I got a new e-ink tablet that I should be able to pull that down on or whatever. So just let me know.
So the way I think about doing the rest of these books here is I'm thinking about adding in some of the secret projects in between Stormlight books.
Okay.
Just because I know there's some that you have to read, but then some of them you don't, and then some of them have nothing to do with anything, but just kind of breaks them up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not, just because story books are so big, and then there's a lot to digest. Would it be, and this is something maybe we can talk about offline, but like, would you rather work through the series and not worry about forgetting what happened in the previous book, or have little breakups in between because they are massive books?
I think we should take that offline, especially if we're
Okay.
going to have someone else.
Warbreaker. We will be doing Warbreaker in between Wave Kings and Words of Radiance, which I firmly believe that's where you put it, because you'll forget about the ties to Warbreaker by the time you get to nothing in Wave Kings relates to Warbreaker, but definitely Words of Radiance. So we'll do that.
They're great book titles.
Yeah.
Wave Kings, Warbreaker. Those, I mean,
Words of Radiance.
Stormlight. Just, I mean, all that stuff. It's just, I mean, they're really great titles for books.
Yeah.
They make you want to read them. It's like, okay, this sounds like action or something's like bold and whatever. So yeah, I like that. I like these titles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Elantris, and I think about the books in Mistborn Era 1.
Well, the books we had the Fallen Empire.
These titles for these books coming up, not the short stories. I mean, they're not bad, but
sure.
But these stories coming up sound like that. I mean, the titles sound really engaging.
So you have Wave Kings, Warbreaker.
Wave Kings. That's a great name. See,
Shadows for Silence, Words of Radiance, Edge Dancer, Tress in the Emerald Sea, Earthbringer, the Sixth of Dusk, Dawn Shard, Rhythm of War. That's a good one. Rhythm of War.
Because I'm gonna be honest and say, Robert Jordan's books, I always felt like they kind of sound like V.C. Andrews novels.
Yeah,
the titles were. I was like, it could have been better. Yeah. And by the way, I read all the V.C. Andrews books, which is
who's the new co-host? Have you said yet? I don't think I've said it yet. Have I told you? Okay, cool.
Me, yes.
Oh, I told you. Okay, yeah. A lot of knows. I didn't know if I told you or not. Yeah. You've met her. I think she's been on our show, right? Actually,
no, she's just come in and she's been in the chat.
She's been in the chat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in the chat, and you've met her in real life because you met her drunk out.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I've met her.
Yeah.
We are good. She and I are people. We are good. I met her one time, and I was like, we're gonna be good people.
Yeah, she's fun. Just so they have White Sands in one book at Amazon for $3. All 3 parts. Because normally it's in 3 different volumes. That's pretty cool. The whole graphic novel. You can buy the whole, like, not 3 separate ones. Okay, I might have to check it out. Because I've only done the like crazy listening Audible. They have like the what's it called, dynamic reading, where it's like all different, like a ton of different voice actors.
Okay,
reading all the different, like that's how. So it's like a play I'm sure listening to. But I've never done the actual graphic novel. So yeah. So
I'm up for recommendations when I get ready to read that. So
yeah. Well, I think our next co-host will be joining us. She might be joining us for the Hope of Elantris. I gotta check. But that's
okay. Cool. Look forward to it.
We'll have it then. So anyway, favorite character. We didn't do that.
I mean, come on. Can you say anybody else other than Rathan? I mean,
Galadon.
Yeah, but no. You know what? I'm gonna go Karada because I had high hopes. I mean, I love the evolution of Karada in general. And I'm sad she got beheaded. Because if you think about it, if she was able to keep her head on for like all of 10 more minutes, she would have survived.
Yeah.
So
mine was Clubs, just the spirit. She's still in my heart. It was your dude. Clubs was your guy.
This guy. He went back and took my character. Okay. I see how you do.
I always got breezy. I mean, come on, I got.
Of course, you always got your dueling cane. I get it, but
I even got my brass tattoo. It's yes.
Oh, see this guy. He's committed. He's doubling down.
I'm committed to my boy Breeze.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, So How You Found is at thecosmoreads.com. Go check it out. We have links to everything: Discord, Patreon, merchandise, all that fun stuff. One day we'll get some Scott Stank in there. Maybe we'll make Elantris great again hats. Some mega hats, not MAGA, mega hats.
That's right.
Well, make them green like the slime in Elantris.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Change the color up. So we'll figure that out. But anyways, that's all I got for this week. So in 2 weeks, we'll see you guys again. Later.
Thank you for watching the Cosmere Reads.
God stank, Scott stay fresh. God stank, Scott stay fresh.